Hi, thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Chrissy Mernon. My guests are Samara Nichols. She is the Hospital and Community Relations Manager for the San Antonio Eye Bank, and she brought with her this morning Alyssa Shepler. She is the Volunteer and Outreach Manager for Guide Dogs of Texas, and they want to invite you to their upcoming Stride for Sight, but they also want you to know about what goes on at the San Antonio Eye Bank and the Guide Dogs of Texas. They've got some adorable little puppies they need some help with. They need puppy raisers. So we're going to find out about that. I want to welcome you both, and we'll start with Samara. Let's talk about, you've got an event coming up on Saturday. Tell me about that, please.
Yes, happy to. So 3 positive nonprofit organizations coming together to raise awareness. Lion Sight Research Foundation, the San Antonio Eye Bank, and Guide Dogs of Texas Incorporated are coming together to host the 2020 Stride for Sight 5K. And the mission in hosting this event is to encourage regular healthy vision practices for adults and children. We want to educate and inspire the community about the gift of sight that can be given through cornea donation. We also want to honor the South Texas cornea donor heroes that gave the gift of sight. And of course, we want to build support for those individuals in need of the services provided by guide dogs. So coming together to bring awareness about vision illnesses, vision disparities, and we want to hopefully make a change in the community when it comes to it.
Where is the walk and what time and how can people join you?
So we're excited to host this year back at Comanche County Park Pavilion 2 on Saturday, March 21st, 2020. Registration opens at 7:30, but our opening ceremony will take place at 8:30 a.m. So for those later risers, you can definitely still make it in time. And after the opening ceremonies, we have a series of fun events taking place. At the event, we'll have our Zumba dance warm-up. We'll have a dove release in tribute to those South Texas donor heroes. We have a free kids fun run with lots of prizes for those kids. There are awards and recognition for best team and most spirited team. It's a great event to come out and celebrate and just be amongst others who support the community regarding vision issues.
Now, this is a dog-friendly event because you have guide dogs, correct?
Correct. Our friends at Guide Dogs of Texas are coming out, along with those individuals who help to raise puppies, those who help to educate about the needs for those who need guide dogs. One of those teams that will be out there is Luann Williams and her guide dog, Atlas. And I'll actually let Alyssa tell you more about that team.
Tell us about that, Alyssa.
So Luann and Atlas are one of our clients. That is actually Luann's third dog. And she participates in many events. She even takes her guide dog on cruises and all other types of events, even out of the country.
And so she's got her team, and her team will be there walking. And so can anybody join her team, or can anybody make their own team? How does that work?
You can. So whether you've been affected by vision illnesses, whether you just support community events, or if you just wake up on Saturday, you want to help support these nonprofits doing well, you can sign up online through our race administrator, Solar Sports. That's SOLERSSPORTS.com. If you are a little worried, you know what's going on nationally regarding illnesses and the coronavirus, you can sign up to be a virtual runner and run from home, run from your neighborhood, take a photo and send that to us, and you'll receive one of our virtual runner medals. So whether you want to be at the event in person or you want to be at the event from home, the comfort of your home or neighborhood, you can participate and support us.
Okay, let's talk about that because we're obviously pre-recording, and this is airing on Sunday. Your event is coming up on Saturday, and so there's uncertainty because of the coronavirus, and some events have been canceled, some events are going on, and so I guess you're prepared for disruption?
We're prepared for disruption. Hopefully we'll be able to take place. We are definitely looking to county officials, looking to our mayor, and following those guidelines. So it's things can change day by day, but we're expecting the event to take place. And unfortunately, if it can't, then hopefully we can still host it as a virtual event.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people going online with things. Okay, so tell me about the San Antonio Eye Bank. What all you do, what's been going on there?
For more than 50 years, we've helped with South Texas individuals with restoring sight to the blind, thanks to cornea donor heroes. So those individuals will either register to become a donor at donatelifetexas.org, or you've checked yes when you've got your driver's license to make a difference and help those who are in need. So we work with hundreds of donor families and honoring them and remembering their donor heroes, as well as with those transplant recipients that are grateful to have a second chance at sight.
Now, restoring sight, which that is just incredible. Can sight be restored to only certain people, only certain types of blindness? You know, some people are born blind and are blind from birth. Will a cornea transplant help them?
It all depends on what that ailment, that injury affects within the eye. So we work specifically with cornea abrasions diseases. So if that cornea is damaged and can be healed by a transplantation, then we're able to help those. More than 90,000 individuals last year received cornea transplants. So several individuals in our community and throughout the nation who are in need of this, but not all vision injuries and ailments can be cured. But if it's related to cornea injury or disease, there's often a time that we can give that individual back their gift of sight through donation and transplantation.
Now, Samara, how do people damage their corneas? You mentioned through disease and then damage. So what happens?
So it all depends on what's taking place. We've had a patient who actually was taking down his Christmas tree, and one of the pine needles punctured through to his cornea. And medicated drops and ointments did not help, and he ended up needing a cornea transplant. So different scenarios can take place that lead individuals into the situation. I like to say most of the recipients I meet never think that they'll be here. Maybe they've registered, or they thought about registering, but they're so impacted and they can't believe, well, someone donated to help me help this stranger out, because I never thought I would be in this situation needing a cornea transplant.
Now, when you get, when someone donates their corneas, because we have two, one for each eye, they're taken out after death?
Correct. So with cornea donation, it can only take place after individuals passing away. So we call it the truly altruistic gift that you can give, because you have to say yes to donating, or your family saying yes on your behalf to donating, and not knowing necessarily the individuals on the other end who will receive that transplant. So we call it the greatest gift you can give, and we call our cornea donor hero because of that, giving that gift.
So the person that donates two corneas, will those two corneas go to the same person, or you only get one cornea at a time?
Typically, it's one cornea performed at a time. So it's not often that the recipient will receive the same corneas if they need both cornea transplants from the same patient.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, because even, I mean, I know people who have just one eye, and they're getting along okay with one eye. So when you have a transplant and you need two and you've got one done, you're better off, you're doing better, right?
Correct. And some individuals, it can be they need a cornea transplant from one eye, and then medical advancements, maybe they're able to have a procedure performed on the other eye and they don't need the cornea transplant on the other eye. It all depends on where that injury or the illness is and how it is attacking that cornea or damage that specific cornea. So there are recipients who only needed one cornea transplant and not both.
What's the area of coverage for the San Antonio Eye Bank?
All of San Antonio, Bexar County, but we also go down to Laredo, the Rio Grande Valley area as well. Several counties that we service to help with the gift of sight. Overall, though, there are 7 eye banks in the state of Texas, but we work as sister eye banks to help those who are in need. All of us collectively, though, when it comes to vision, for those who want to sign up and make a difference, you go to the state registry, donatelifetexas.org, to register, or when you check your license to say yes to donation.
What about disease? What are some of the diseases that damage the eye, that people wind up needing something from the San Antonio Eye Bank?
One of the diseases is called keratoconus. Keratoconus is a disease that can cause your normal cornea, which is bowl-shaped, to bulge out into a mountain shape, become distorted. And about 30% of individuals who are diagnosed with that disease will end up needing a cornea transplant.
So that's the big one. And what about diabetes? Does diabetes have an impact on the eye and vision?
It can have an impact specifically with your retina, but it may not necessarily need you to need a cornea transplant specifically. It all just depends on how it is attacking that cornea. But definitely for those who may be diabetic, we want you not to rule yourself out. I have met individuals in the community who are inspired or who hear about us, or maybe you even listening to this interview and say, hey, I want to donate, but I have diabetes, I have glaucoma, or I have poor vision. You wouldn't want my corneas. And actually we do. Those issues don't necessarily affect that cornea tissue. So even if individuals may be not seeing the best, you're nearsighted or farsighted, that doesn't mean your cornea isn't healthy. That doesn't mean you can't help heal someone with giving the gift of sight.
Okay, so even if you can't see good, your cornea can help someone else see.
Exactly. Maybe it's the retina of your eye that is the issue. Maybe it's the lens of your eye, but it's not that cornea. We tell individuals, don't rule yourself out. If you want to help individuals in need, if this is something that you think is a good thing to do, as we think it's a good thing to do, just simply sign up. After your passing, we'll do the medical evaluation to determine who can and can't save and heal lives.
While we're on that subject, what about people who have laser surgery and they have eye adjustments so they don't need glasses?
Still register to donate. Even if you've had LASIK surgery, you can still potentially be a donor.
How about that? Our guest this morning, Samara Nichols. She is the Hospital and Community Relations Manager for the San Antonio Eye Bank, and she brought with her Alyssa Shepler. She is the Volunteer and Outreach Manager for Guide Dogs of Texas. And so tell me about, what do you do at Guide Dogs of Texas, and what does Guide Dogs of Texas do, Alyssa?
So we provide guide dogs to people who are blind and visually impaired. We actually serve the entire state of Texas. We breed, raise, and train all of our own dogs. Our program is a little different because once we place the dog, we do continue to reach out and educate and make sure that our clients are happy and safe and that everything's going well. Personally, I am in charge of the volunteers. Our volunteers make a huge impact on everything that we do. All of our puppies do actually stay with someone, and they actually go everywhere. That allows them to get exposure and to be able to have as many experiences as they can before they are placed with their client.
How'd you wind up at Guide Dogs of Texas?
Well, I was looking to do something that I felt would make a little bit more of an impact. And once I started meeting the clients, I mean, it truly came to light. Everyone has so much more freedom. I recently actually did a blindfold walk, and it was honestly the most difficult thing ever. I kept running off the road. I kept getting stuck in the grass. And then I was frustrated because people were using describing words, and I had absolutely no idea where I was. But once I got the guide dog, I went to the mall, and it was insane. I felt like I was literally flying, walking on clouds. I could feel people around me, but they really just weren't there because the dog was so focused and so in tuned with what I was doing and where I was going.
How about a blindfold walk? So what's a blindfold walk?
It's pretty much you wear a blindfold that blocks out every single type of light. So it's literally pitch black. And from there, you have a guide dog and you have a harness, and there's someone there, to make sure that you're okay. And then you walk with the dog. And so you tell the dog to go right, to go left, take me to a counter, all of these things. And the dog takes you there literally like no one is around you. It's just you and the dog. It's awesome.
That's amazing that the dogs are, I know dogs are intelligent.
Definitely.
But wow. So you've got some puppies at the Guide Dogs of Texas. You have, because you raise your own.
Correct.
And you have a new batch.
Yes. So we recently had a new litter. They're the N's. So each one of our litters is named after a letter of the alphabet. So we recently just had 4 boys and 3 girls. Their names are Nacho, Nelly, Nikita, Nugget, Nemo, Nala, and Nash. And they recently were born about a week ago.
Is there a specific breed for guide dogs?
We specifically use labs. That is what we personally breed. And so right now we have they're goldenish coral color. They're super cute.
Mm-hmm. And so you started, your first ones were A's, the B's, you're up to N's as far as. So tell me about, okay, now you've got these darling little puppies. You need some puppy raisers. What is, I guess, their timeline to becoming a guide dog?
So the puppies stay with us on site in a nursery for about 8 weeks, and that's just to make sure they get their shots, they're safe and taken care of, and they get that quality time with their mom. All throughout that, we are doing little activities, whether it be playing sounds or, someone wearing a hat, just to make sure that they're comfortable. And then from there, once they come out of there, we have an event called Puppy Induction, which is where our puppies actually are inducted to go into puppy raising. That is where our volunteers come into place, and they actually take our puppies, and the puppies stay with them. They do all their daily activities. As you can imagine, our clients who are visually impaired, their lives do not stop. They still have to work. They still want to do other activities. So our puppy raisers introduce those dogs to all of those aspects. and just to make sure that, nothing will surprise them.
They are going out in the community. They're going to restaurants, to stores, to offices with their little puppy.
Correct. And the dogs wear a vest that, lets people know that they are in training. And that vest let the dogs know too, that it's time to focus and, they're not out at their house playing. And so they go everywhere. And that really helps our clients. Specifically, we had a dog that, had never heard a blow dryer. So little things like that, the more introduction they get to any item, whether it be, a door closing or a fire alarm, allows them to be more comfortable when they are paired with their client.
Mm-hmm. So you got these cute puppies and you're at the mall and somebody wants to come up. Oh, people want to touch and do all kinds of things. Some people carry treats. They want to interact with the dog. But when you see a puppy in training, a guide dog in training, what should you do?
We, of course, we ask that you please come up to, whoever is with the dog and ask them first. And in regards to puppies or, adult dogs, put your focus towards the client or the person with the dog. As soon as you make eye contact with that puppy, the puppy obviously gets extremely excited, and it's a lot harder for that person to continue to talk with you and to go ahead and redirect the puppy.
Mm-hmm. So focus on the person, leave your hands off the dog. The dog is working.
Correct.
I guess people have difficulty understanding because they're so cute. They're just
They're very cute.
Puppies are playful. Well, now, so okay, you've got this litter of 7 and we're in the ends. Are all of them going to make it as a guide dog? Do they have a 100% training success rate?
So each puppy obviously is different. We do, have different aspects that we look for, to see what's best. And if they don't make it, we do rehome them. We don't specifically have like a guesstimation on how many are going to make it. We obviously hope that all of them do. Mm-hmm. But if they do not, we do re-career them into different positions. Maybe, they are, not really more interested in guiding, but they have, able to sniff really well, so we can re-career them into that. And then, of course, if for some health reason, unfortunately, they're not able to make it, we do actually rehome them with volunteers who are able to stay with them and take care of them. And they'll still take them to events so that they still get all of that exposure and the want to go out, but maybe guiding isn't the best fit.
Mm-hmm. What do you ask of your volunteers? What are the requirements to be a volunteer?
We ask that you fill out an application, and then from there, we have a couple training sessions. We do ask for, specifically with puppy raising, we have a monthly house visit where, you can do a walk out and about. We also have a training session that allows the puppy raisers to get a little more comfortable and, ask any questions, or if maybe they're having an issue with a specific topic, a puppy won't stop picking up food, then they're able to meet with our puppy manager, and then from there she's able to kind of give them some pointers and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Does the person who is raising the puppy, do they pay for everything, or is that something y'all pay for?
So we provide all of the supplies. Of course, we are completely funded by, grants and donations. So anyone willing to donate items, of course, we have no objections. But in regards to our volunteers, they are not required to put any money into it. We provide the food, the heartworm and the flea, and then all of that. The only thing required is, if there's a vet visit, we ask that they just take them. But other than that, we cover all of the costs.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess you want them on a certain diet, because these are working dogs and that need to perform to a certain standard. And so you're kind of, I guess, particular about their food?
Correct. So we provide all of the food, and we also provide when it needs to be increased. As they're puppies, they do grow extremely fast. And because of that, we make sure that, the food is increased at the proper time, that they have access to the food, just to make sure that they're completely good on their diet and that they have enough energy to continue going out and working.
And for somebody who wants to be a volunteer puppy raiser, they have to understand this is an inside dog, correct? The dog inside and outside?
Correct. So the dog will stay with you inside. It is not allowed on furniture, or anything of that sort, but it goes with you everywhere. When it is in the house, it is more of a pet, so they are able to play with other dogs and stuff like that. But we do ask, obviously, that they have manners. They're not jumping on counters, and they aren't left outside alone.
How long does the puppy stay in the person's house?
So it completely based on each situation, but normally it's about a year and a half, depending on when they actually come into advanced training. Once they come into advanced training, that's where they actually learn to become a guide dog.
Oh, so what they're doing the first 18 months Is they're just getting used to being around people and learning all of the things that people do?
Correct. And to have manners and, not jump on the table, go to the restroom. We use a specific command to go to the restroom. And that's just to, in the future, make it a lot easier for the client. But it's more of manners, puppy manners, letting that puppy have the best time, but also understand, what their job is and how they're supposed to behave when they are out in public.
You are a working dog. You have a job, and these are things you need to do.
Correct.
And then after 18 months, that puppy you've bonded with, you have to turn it over.
Yes, and that is something we hear all the time. How can you imagine giving that puppy away? You have that bond, but specifically we have a puppy raiser who raised, I think, over 8 puppies. And she said it's exactly like when your kids go to college. You just have to remember they are going to change someone's life and really give someone that freedom that nothing else can. And, just imagine that pride that you have once you meet that client and that dog together. And then you get to see them do their blindfold walk and see the success of that dog. I mean, it's life-changing for not only the client, but also for that person who gave that time.
Oh, absolutely. And you have more dogs.
And we do love dogs. Don't worry. There's always more puppies to come.
There'll be another one coming soon. You go up to Z and then start over at A, huh?
Yeah, we'll be back. Don't worry.
Oh, that's good. And so now they turn it over. I'm sure that's a tearful, that's a tearful event when they have to turn it over. And then, so now you take over the training. How long from 18 months until the client gets the dog?
So it takes about 6 months for them to train them, give or take. And then from there, they are paired with the client. Our clients aren't paired based off first come, first serve. We try and match them specifically, on a case-by-case basis, what their jobs are, what their lifestyle is. Are they out and about a lot? Do they need a dog with a lot more high energy, or they are a little slower, Do they walk a little slower? Is their day a little more slow-paced? And from there, we pair them to make sure that those dogs are successful and that pair is the perfect in the eyes of not only the client, but the dog too.
So it's a custom fit. How does someone get a dog, and who gets a dog as far as vision impairment?
So specifically, you just have to be legally blind. We do serve the entire state of Texas, so you do have to live in the state of Texas. There are a couple other requirements that are based specifically on if they have had certain trainings. And then from there, they're able to actually send us their info. We'll take a phone call, talk about everything. And then they are able to be put on our list. They'll have a couple meetings with our team. And then from there, they start the pairing process and the home visits and all of that.
Do they have to pay for the dog?
So it actually is $1 for that client to get the dog. And that is just a contract to kind of make sure, that everyone's safety is taken into account, the dog, the human, and of course, the dog's able to work and not left alone. And then from there, the only other cost the client pays is just the regular cost of having any other pet.
Mm-hmm. And how much follow-up do you do? Because you've explained you really do a custom fit because you want a perfect outcome for your client and the dog.
Correct. So our guide dog mobility instructors, they actually go out once a year to something called an ACEs visit, and that's just to make sure our clients are doing good, say they might have moved, or, say maybe a location is just giving them a little tougher time with their dog. Our team will not only take the time to help, any situation, but then to just go and say, our dogs are trained and, we legally they are able to go into this location. We just want to make sure that whatever the client needs, we can help with, and that we are there to continue to have the success of their team.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know, there's a somewhat of a controversy over emotional support animals, and you see signs that I was in a hardware store and they were like, we only allow official blah, blah, blah dogs, and I thought, so there's what kind of issues have been going on, but your dogs can go anywhere, correct?
Correct. Our dogs and our puppies in the state of Texas are able to, have that access. With that being said, if a dog is misbehaving, we know that our volunteers, they are told, just take the puppy out of the situation. Some puppies are young and they're not ready for certain events, and maybe you don't realize that till you're there. But specifically our dogs, they do wear vests that let them know. And if they are working, they will have a vest on and a handle that is yellow to kind of show that this is a guiding dog and that it is working right now.
So do you would call them guide dogs or service dogs, or is that the same thing? Is that the same
So
term?
a guide dog is its own category. Guide dogs are specifically trained by guide dog mobility instructors. So in regards to that, our vests are a little different than other service dogs, but specifically in regards to guide dogs, those vests and the white harness are what would let you know that it is a guide dog and that it is able and has those access rights.
Can go anywhere.
Correct.
Now, you are in charge of volunteers at
Yes.
Guide Dogs of Texas. If we've talked about puppy raisers, that's your big job for volunteers. What other volunteer opportunities are there?
So we actually have a couple. We have, of course, events. So we ask if you ever want to come out and help us with an event, set up and breakdown. You'll not only get to see a bunch of puppies and meet our clients, but you also will be able to help us out and, make the event as successful as possible. We also have puppies in our nursery, and they need 24/7 care. That means, cleaning up after them, feeding them, exposing them to certain items. We do have that opportunity available. And of course, everybody loves some puppy kisses. So it is actually a great opportunity. It's completely your availability, however long you want to do it. We just ask that you fill an application out online. And then from there, we will set up the training to get you started.
Where are y'all located? Where's the nursery?
So we are located by Nimitz Middle School off of Blanco in Dresden.
And you're accessible. Is it best to reach you through the internet, through your website?
Yes, so you can go to our website. It's guidedogsofTexas.org. All of our volunteer applications are on there. And of course, if you have any questions, you can actually fill out a little inquiry form and we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Our guest this morning, Alyssa Shepler. She's the volunteer and outreach manager for Guide Dogs of Texas. With her, Samara Nichols. She's the hospital and community relations manager for San Antonio Eye Bank. And your organizations team up with the Lion Sight Research Foundation. Tell me about the Lions, because really they are synonymous with eyesight and collecting glasses and things like that, correct?
Correct. So the Lions are all dedicated to helping with visual impairments and blindness. Helen Keller challenged the Lions back in 1925 to become the Knights of the Blind, and the organization has definitely taken that on, that mission for several years since Helen Keller reached out to the organization. Specifically with the Lion Sight Research Foundation, they provide free vision screenings. They have about 40 mobile units that travel throughout 21 counties in South Texas. They provide the visions for kids at schools, daycares, and events. Approximately annually about 15,000 adults or children that will receive eye screenings each year thanks to the Lion Sight Research Foundation. But that's not all they do. They also provide resources to those who don't have the means to get follow-up examinations, glasses, or other needed services. About 15 to 18% of those that they help provide with the vision screening, they refer them to an eye care professional for additional examinations.
And I have a friend who's in the Lions, and if you have old glasses, and anybody who wears glasses probably has a few old pairs, because you hang on to them when you get your new ones, your backups or whatever, and then you've got a drawer full of them. They collect them.
We do collect them, and they are recycled, even if the lens of the glasses are. So I say we. I'm actually a proud member of Northside Lions Club
All right,
as well.
okay, I got another friend who's a Lion. All right.
So we can collect those, and they're actually sent to a recycling group here in Texas. And so let's say the lens is scarred, or maybe you have broken glasses and one side is broken or bent. You can still donate that. They can actually take those apart, melt down those metal components, are those part of those, and to make new glasses. So if you know a Lion, yes, definitely say, hey, here's my glasses. I get that sometimes, whether it's through email or the building that we work in, saying, hey, well, we're here with the eye bank, do you take glasses? Well, we don't take glasses specifically. We help a cornea donation transplant. But hey, you have a Lion here. Let me have those glasses so we can make sure we donate that and help others in need through those means, through the Lions organization.
That is awesome. And you just said they don't have to be perfect. They can be broken and they still have purpose.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming by this morning. And I know that you're planning on welcoming several hundred folks to your event next Saturday, the 2020 Stride for Sight 5K. It's on Saturday, March 21st. Where and when and what time?
Comanche County Park, Pavilion 2. Our opening ceremony is at 8:30 a.m. Please come out and join us. Our sign up online at solarsports.com, or reach out to us to learn more about organizations. You can reach out to the San Antonio iBank at saibank.org. That's SAEYEBANK.org, and find out more about us.
Thanks both again.
It's time to save on your faves at Big Lots. Now through July 17th, you'll get a $10 Big Lots gift card by mail when you spend $30 on favorites like Tide, Gain, Dawn, and Febreze. Stop by and save today.